Okay, good afternoon, students. This is Raja, and as I promised you, I'm gonna have my last video on the last chapter in this semester, chapter 13. I hope by now you did read the notes and the videos, watch the videos on MyLab IT. So today I'm just going to demonstrate the assignment that required to be completed. And in this assignment, we will be using the Power Query and Pivot and Power Pivot, two tools in Excel to analyze data, create dashboards, create KPI, key performance indicators. So starting with chapter, so I downloaded, so you're gonna need to download the Excel file, the Access file, and of course the instructions. So we're going to use a source, import data from the Access database. So we're going to start with clicking on the data tab. So this is very similar to what we use in chapter 9. Yeah, instead of importing from a text file, importing from an Access database, which is already downloaded. Okay, and click on import. So that's something you just need to download from the prep files. Okay, so again, we're familiar with this screen. Here is showing you the what you have. You have 4 tables. Okay, so we're going to start with the customer, importing the customer. Okay, we're not going to load in this case. We're just going to transform the data. So it's going to create a connection and transform it into a worksheet, transform the data. So here it's going to take some time and open the Power Query editor. All right, so this is the table. Here we're just going to do some work on the table, adding a column. Let me see what we're doing with this one on the add column here. So we will create a conditional column, okay, meaning only adds. It's going to kind of show you how it's similar to the conditional format, but here we create a new column based on a criteria. So click on the conditional column. Okay, see, here's what first here it's what's the name of the column. So it's state status. State status. Okay, now here is the filter or the criteria saying on the add column create a conditional a return in state when the state field contains New Mexico. So the state field equals New Mexico. Then the outcome it's in state. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not a New Mexico, just the outcome will be out of state. Okay. And so if I click OK, Power Query will create a new column and add these new information to the table. Okay, and it's the state status. Okay, then we sort the table based on the customer ID. Ascending order. Okay, we got that. And load. So right now we will go back to the home tab and so we're gonna load the data into a new worksheet and rename the worksheet. So we're gonna load to close and load. Okay, so it's not on an existing, create a new. Okay, and click OK. So it's the data loaded to this worksheet, and rename the instead of table customer, just rename it as customers. So right now when you have a new worksheet called customers. Okay. Okay, so that's it for step 2. So with that process, we've used that process in chapter just to load data from a different source, and we did that. Now, so we're going to load the other tables that we have already and import the data, being sure to creating a connection and to load it to the model. So we're going to go through the same process from access, because we only loaded one table. Select the same source. And select, I'm going to just check this one, select multiple items, because in the instructions is asking to select 3 tables. Okay, oops. So we're going to check the employee, product, and transactions, 3 tables. We will click on load to. We're not going to choose to create to load it to a worksheet. We will add it to a data model, and that's really the power of Excel or Power Pivot that I'm going to show you in this chapter. Power, create a connection. All you need to do, just create a connection and add it to the model. If now this is working, it's doing that process. Okay, so if you don't have this Power Pivot, because we're gonna need it next on the rest of the assignment, you click on Options in Excel, and on the Options feature, it's like how we did the same process when we added Solver. Go to and make sure that the data analysis add-ins added to your worksheet. Okay, just making sure. If you don't have, because you should have this Power Pivot tab on your worksheet. Okay, so with that, we loaded the data. Now we're going to make a modification, add the table on the customer worksheet to the model. So this table, we need to add it to the model, because this one, it's right now only loaded to the worksheet. This one is loaded to the model, this one, and these 3 connected in the model. So if I go to the data model, I can see them, but not the customers. We need this customer. So it's loaded to worksheet. Sorry, this one is loaded to worksheet. The employee is loaded to data model. That's what I'm talking about, load status. And the transaction is also loaded to data model. So we're going to change the customers to also loaded, or load this customer to the customers table to the data model.